Ending in here, and we're going to do some testing live streaming. I went and I had to get myself a new Ethernet switch, which I'm not a big fan of because I can't get the upload speed higher on from the Switch to the PS4. Unfortunately, it works just fine on the PC. I still have 110 upload on my PC, but unfortunately for my my PS4, I cannot get the upload to get higher than about 8 or so. And I've tried doing like the speed ups for using like Google's DNS and all that, and that stuff doesn't improve the speed either. It actually lowers the speed, unfortunately. So what we're doing here is we're gonna play some Toukiden 2 real quick on the PS4 Pro. I wanted to do it on PC, but I had the money laying on my PS4 account, on my PSN account, so I just went ahead and got this instead. And I kind of wanted to test the streaming capability with it hardwired on my PS4, trying the 1080p So we're playing Toukiden 2, and if anybody doesn't know what it is a Monster Hunter-esque game that focuses much more on action and speed than the tactile movements and attacks from Monster Hunter. And it pretty much works the same way, but Toukiden 2 kind of changed up things and made it into an open world effect for single player. So instead, now you have this world that you can explore and get quests. People out in the world have quests, and people in your hub city have quests as well. And I'll show you here the map. You can see I've already explored all the way out here and out into this Cherry Blossom Road area. And you have these quick travel portals that you can use and travel from one spot to another as you unlock them. Right now, I don't have any quests, I believe, that outside of the Find Oni tracks, and my quest there, actually that's completed. Alright, there's several weapons that you can equip in the game. I'm currently using sword and sword actually is a really cool weapon type that they added into the game. And when you press circle, it creates a blade on your shield and essentially allows you to dual wield. Now, one of the cool things about Toukiden is that you equip these things called matamas. And matamas, I'll show you here, there's different equipments for your matamas. So you can get matamas throughout the game, and there's different ones for the different specifications. So this one here is a defense matama, which in the first slot, which goes in your weapons, determines the skills that you can use, that you have a certain amount of uses for. As you can see over there, taunt, shield, barrier, and recovery, and those numbers next to them are the amount of times that you can use them before you either have to find a stone that is, and I can show you what that looks like over here. You can find these stones scattered throughout the world, and they will refill your usages. These right here. So I'll use one of each of my skills here, and then touch the stone, and bam, refilled. But also the matamas also have other usages. For putting them in your armor, they give you a particular skill that is used when you hold down R1. In some instances, it allows you to use that. And then the other matama is your R1 and then R2 skill. And of course, there's about, I think, 10 to 12 different Matama types. So along with that, like I said, the game is very much Monster Hunter-esque. The multiplayer section of the game, which you unlock after a certain bit in the story, will open up the multiplayer part of the game. And the multiplayer part is at the stones and at the various parts of the game that you can get to, and of course there's one at the city hub as well, and that is how you get into the multiplayer section of the game. And I'll show y'all here. So these stones right here, they allow you to jump to other portal stones, so you can go back to the portal stones in the city. And then you have the other headquarters, and the other headquarters is what allows you to go online. And as soon as this is done loading, I'll go online and show y'all how to start the online process. Alright, so you can go online here, and it will load in the online. There you can create a lobby, search for a lobby, or you can find your friends. And then we can just create a lobby. You can name your lobby whatever you want. And then once you're done, you can set to it 3 people, or you can add up to those 3 people for your friends list, and then it'll always have a password for your friends to join in, which is kind of bad in like today's time of sending invites to your friends. Instead, now you have a password for this game, so that's a little bit behind. And then of course, once you create the lobby, it'll put you into the headquarters room for the village area that you're at. And this person over here in this counter is the person that gives you missions. It's very much Monster Hunter-esque. You can select group missions, and here you'll have the first phase. Now this is the one thing I love about this game over other games, like especially Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter just gives you a plethora. And I'll give you an example. In the latest Monster Hunter game, Generations, you have like 3 pages of quests to do in any particular phase, and you don't know which ones will send you into the next phase or star of missions. Here in this phase 1, the red missions are highlighted red to show you that those are the ones that will unlock your next phase. So that helps a lot in not doing the quests that you don't want to do, because a lot of these quests are defeating ogres, and you'll fight plenty of them out in the open. Patrol duty, which is kill a bunch of imps and blazing souls and poison spitters. Again, it's a lot of enemies that you'll find out in the open world. Now these quests in the first Toukiden were kind of necessary, because that's how you got to your quests and you got things done. So if you needed to hunt down imps, or if you needed to hunt down blazing souls or poison spitters, that was and you would just do that mission. But in this game, you don't have to do it as much, because you have an open world aspect in single player that you can just go out there and explore and get the things that you need. Of course, these are quick ways. These are also quick ways to just get into it and then fight those things that you want. But if you're going to be doing the single player aspect of the game, these aren't needed. And then whenever you want to do multiplayer and then do these particular missions, not by yourself but with friends, or just with random people, then you can go ahead and do that. And of course, then I'll go to my phase 2. I haven't started on that, but you can already see these 3 are the missions that are required for me to complete in order to get to the next area. But if I need to fight these things, which I'm pretty sure you can find those out in the world as well, and some of them are from the previous one, and you can do that. And then you also have Ruined Exploration, which allows you to explore particular areas and keep actually going. They're almost that one is infinite. This one allows you to go to 10, but the infinite basically just allows you to keep going and exploring as you want. But the only problem is that the other people in your group have to be there as well. So that's kind of the same. It's almost the same aspect, but you have to. So along with the group missions as well, you can't go into phase 2 if somebody in your group isn't in phase 2. So that is the breakdown of how to do multiplayer in the game and the single player as well. Now the other part that is Monster Hunter is when you go to make weapons and armor. Weapons and armor all require materials, as you can see over here. All require materials that are farmed off of monsters that you can fight in the game. And pretty much just like in the fashion of Monster Hunter, once you make an item, you can go over here to Reforge, and this Reforge here allows you to change an item into another item by using materials required for it. So like if I wanted to make this mercenary shield, I have one thing I can make it into, which is a knight shield, which will give it a holy effect, and also give I need those items over on the right to make it into the knight shield. So it's very much Monster Hunter, you know, takes from Monster Hunter in that aspect as well. And as you defeat more enemies and get the items that you need, you will be able to make more equipment and upgrade that equipment very much in Monster Hunter fashion. Now, the one other thing that I do like about this game is when you play through the single player, you can find these red items on the ground called multi-purpose rocks. And if you look over on the material side in the parentheses over there, you'll see multi-purpose rock. And that multi-purpose rock shows 2 of 1, so I have 2 multi-purpose rocks. These things allow you to use it as like a wild card for materials to create an item. So if you end up being short by one item, or if there's one particular item that is really hard to get off of a monster, which can happen, it's happened to me in Monster Hunter before, this allows you to replace that one item with the multi-purpose rocks so that you can craft that item. It's very useful, it's actually very intuitive as well. And of course, as far as I've seen so far in the early game, that there's only so many of these multi-purpose rocks out in the field, and they don't respawn as far as I know. I'll have to do some more research into that and find out for certain, but as far as I know right now, they are just one-offs that you can pick up off the ground. Now what we'll do is I can actually go into the Matamas themselves right here. So as you can see, your skills over on the right show you the type of skills that you'll get with each Matama type. And then the other big part of it is that if you check triangle and go to the next page, you'll see that they all have particular boosts, and you can equip any 3 boosts from that Matama themselves. So as you see, I have 2 attack Matamas, and that one has attack up, immortal, and fervor as its first 3. But this one has attack up, Oni, burial, and might as its first 3. So they all have different particular boosts that they can give you when you equip them. So if you want to look for something that kind of suits your style for each one, like the defense here has protection, shield plus, and shield reduce, purify and reduce. And this one has shield range and barrier increase as its first 3 outside of protection, because they both have protection. And so each one has different bonuses for their particular skill. For evasion skill, like attack skills make you immortal. When you take a mortal wound, you'll be immortal for a certain amount of time. It's actually a very good one if you're usually in the mix and you don't have a defensive weapon like sword and shield. Actually, I need to go ahead and get out of multiplayer because these people are going to think I want to play. Yeah, I forgot to do that. And as you do particular things with each of these Matama abilities require certain things to be done to actually equip them. Now, the other thing that's great with these different equips, especially for like your Demon Claw, which is a new thing in Toukiden that allows you to fire a claw to grab onto objects and fling yourself at them. This includes monsters and being able to grab onto things like body parts where you would have to chop off an arm or something that you can't normally reach from the ground. You can grab onto it and fly towards it to hit it. But these Matamas, they all have, if you equip a certain group of them, you will get a registered boost for that Matama. So there's certain groups of Matamas that work well together to create additional boosts that you would normally get from the Matamas themselves. And lastly, of course, there's fighting giant Matamas that you would fight, in these giant, like this Manhunter here. All of his limbs are all parts that you can break off, and breaking those parts off allows you to purify them by holding down R1. And I'll show you what that is right out here, because I can't do it in town. So when you hold R1, you create this purification field. Mine is bigger because I've got purity, which increases the range of it. And each item has a certain amount of time it takes to purify it. When you purify that body part, it becomes an item for you that allows you to create new weapons, new armor, etc. And as you kill more enemies and get stronger, you'll fight stronger enemies and create bigger, stronger weapons and armor themselves. And that is a quick overview of the game. I'll probably do a gameplay video showcasing a little more of the gameplay itself, fighting giant monsters and such. And we'll see you there. Alright, and this is going to be Desertmaverick signing off. Check you later.